Well, hey everybody, hi, it is us again, and that means it's Monday night. It's Kevin and
Lisa.
It's good to see you, Lisa.
Great to be here.
And this is Marriage
Monday.
That's right, Marriage Monday. So it's really good to see you. It's really good to have you with us, whether you're live streaming on YouTube with us right away, or if you're watching this a little bit later, it's great to have you. We're going to be talking about marriages. We have been talking about marriages for the number of times that we've been together for the last few weeks.
It's been awesome.
Talking not only, of course, we call this Marriage Monday, we've been talking not only about marriages, but lately we've been talking about phases of marriages that we all go through. Every marriage goes through a phase from where it's beginning to, well, not its end, but it's beginning right up through. So
always changing.
We want to be talking about that, but something we'd like to do, because we have a lot of live, while we're live streaming, we have a lot of live people engaged with us as well. That makes sense. Live people engaged with us. We always want live people engaged with us, but live people engaged with us live as well. So we always want to kind of work the chat a little bit and get people talking on the chat. So what we want to do,
we'd like you to, of course, you know, we've been doing all these different phases and we're on the Oh Happy Day phase tonight, but we'd like you to tell us what phase that you think your marriage is in.
Yeah.
Have you figured out where you fit in? Of course, it's not, you know, it's not perfectly orchestrated for you to know, but I think you can kind of figure it out.
Sure.
And just
so
tell
drop
us in the chat.
I don't know if you can see the screen behind us, but we put up kind of 5 phases that we've talked about in the last 5 sessions that weey've been together. That very first one, the honeymoon one-ish. Oh, yes, fantastic.
That was a good one.
Then number 2 comes reality. That's,
uh-oh.
Right, so maybe you're there, but that's okay. Uh-oh can be, uh-oh, this is going to turn out good. And oh dear is number 3. That's when there's kids and craziness.
See, I told you it's not perfect. Some are in both, two different phases.
It's okay to claim both.
Yeah, Dave Johnson says he's in 2 and 3. And oh no, so that's...
And so a little bit of oh no, that was our mystery phase.
That's right.
It's not really a phase. Is that oh no can happen anytime when a crisis happens.
Heather Humphreys in phase 3.
That's oh dear.
Evan Ding says apparently we're in uh-oh. Zenobia, a combo of all. These are my people. They don't want to just be pigeonholed into one.
Can't just choose one. You can't stick with it. You got to be everything.
Savika's in oh dear. Yes, she is, with her little ones at home and working. Craig Henry says, oh boy, plus a little oh dear still going on. Okay.
You know, you may have some oh dear linger for a lot of years.
Yeah, I get that.
That's true.
Blair, I think we're in oh dear. Tony, oh dear.
Okay, so that's really good. Thank you so much for kind of being a part of that. So we'll just kind of summarize the last 5 sessions that we talked about. In every session, and they're up here behind if you can still see, and if you can't, I'll just tell you really quick. As we've already said, there's the oh yes phase. That's the beginning, and then oh that's when you realize you married a human being, and not Prince Charming or the Princess Charming whatever I'm going for there. Yeah, and there's the oh dear phase. You get really busy. That can be a good oh dear, like oh dear, this is great. Or
I think you said you're making hay while the sun shines in that phase.
You might have some kids at that phase. You might have a job, career change. You might have mortgage and stuff like that. Then there's the oh boy phase. That's a little more
kind of coming back together off of that big busy phase.
If you had kids, maybe they left.
Yeah.
You got to get to know each other again. If you had kids, maybe they left, maybe they came back. You got to get to know them again a little bit. And then the oh happy day is tonight. But these are the words that we threw at each phase. And we've got them up on the screen behind. So we always chose, for each phase, we chose two words that at least
kind of our big idea for that phase.
That's right. At least we would remember when we were going through it and kind of expressing it to you. And hopefully, if you're in that phase, you would remember these 2 key guiding words. So in the very first phase, our 2 words were passion and perspective. The next phase was
faith and friendship.
Faith and friendship. And then in the oh boy, that's the oh boy, right? Teamwork. You need teamwork and some tenderness towards each other, some grace towards each other.
Definitely.
Number 4, that was last week.
Yeah, present and past.
You can talk about,
Yeah.
realize the present that you're in,
Yeah.
and put the past
In the past.
in
Yes,
the past.
yes.
That was
there can be
last
some
week
hurts that
as
catch
well.
up to you at that phase of coming back together and all that time to kind of look at what you've built.
Yeah.
So
So we wanted to
weren't-
ask you
we didn't want to
this.
go into that though. We want them to go back. If you're just watching
Oh, we
tonight for the
didn't.
first time and
Sorry.
you haven't seen the other phases, you can go on our YouTube channel and
right.
rewatch them. Yeah.
That's right. So you can just subscribe to this channel here. Go back and watch the other ones if you hadn't had. Which brings us to a good point. Why don't you drop this in the chat for us, because we're not done engaging with
Yes,
you yet.
yes.
Tell us, if you're here for the very first time with us, count that as one. But if you're some of our loyal watchers, how many sessions have you
Yeah.
been with us?
Because you haven't written down 6. You haven't written down 6, but there were 6 sessions.
Right.
Oh No
the
was
sixth
another
session
one on
was-
crisis.
That's right. Oh No on crisis.
Yeah.
So we're not talking
I
about.
can't believe we've been together six times.
Well, if
to
you think
talk
about our
the
marriage,
Oh Wow Marriage.
our Marriage Monday, the whole platform, the Amazing Love Marriage Monday thing, we've been together how long? How many weeks altogether?
17, I
Like
think.
17. But let's just say in this oh wow phase, this oh wow, your marriage is going to be an oh wow marriage. How long have you guys, how many sessions
6
have
out of
you
6?
watched? 6 out of
Oh,
6?
Daryl, 6 out of 6.
Maybe?
Craig, Henry, 6 out of 6.
All the braggarts are
Oh,
dropping
my
6. Is
goodness.
anybody less
Wow.
than 6? Okay, you can be honest. We're
Wow.
not going to shame you.
Oh, Carol, 4 sessions.
That's good. All. We're not even going to put 6.
Oh,
Just all.
John Alice, our son-in-law, all of them, all the way from
Is that
California.
true? Is that really
I think
true?
he rewatched some. I don't think he watched live. I don't know if it counts if you.
I think what our kids do is they put it on and then they like go for a walk and then they come back. And so they have to, and they're
Probably.
held accountable by us.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It's that sort of thing.
Oh, Rowena, husband, all wife minus 1.
Wow, she's really splitting it down here. That's some heavy accountability for the
Oh,
marriage right
Evan
there.
Ding, 17 out of 17, perfect
Yeah,
score.
That's right. Okay.
Dave Johnson, 5.5. I love
Very
it.
good. Very good. Well, it's like we've said, it's good to have you here. We're going to talk about marriage. We're going to talk a little bit. Of course, we always manage to talk about ours. And somehow, without even you knowing it, we managed to talk about yours. And the goal is that we have a great marriage.
Yes.
This session, or this entire 6 session that we've gone through so far, has been named Oh Wow. And the whole reason we name it Oh Wow is we believe that your marriage can be an Oh Wow marriage. Whether it's got highs, and it will, or whether it's
Yes,
got lows,
and it
and it
will.
does.
Yes,
But it can be oh wow no
Yeah.
matter what. So if you're committed to that, if you want that kind of marriage, that's the reason we're all gathered together here, whether it's right now or a little bit later when you're watching. So we want to get started. We've talked about a number of phases in other sessions so far. Tonight is our last one. This is the final phase. Maybe just tell everybody.
Last one of this series,
Exactly.
not the last Marriage Monday.
But maybe explain to people a little bit, like, is this scientific? Like, is there only 5 phases and you can't be in another phase? Because some people say, well, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm in 2 or 3 different
Yeah.
phases at a time. You want to maybe explain that?
Well, I think
Or is that a
definitely.
tough question?
It is a tough question, but
I
we're
ask the tough questions.
we chose 5. We felt it was manageable, but of course you can tease it out into 7 or
Yeah.
10 or 27 or
27.
or
Yeah. How overwhelmed
Or you can
would
make
you
it
be?
cyclical. You could do anything you want, really. Maybe we'll come back and do something like that.
Session 99.
Yeah,
So anyways, we're not going to do that.
one for every year of your marriage.
This is our phase number 5, and it is the last one that we're going to talk about in the phases of marriage. And
Yeah.
this is the Oh Happy Day
Yes,
phase.
beautiful.
The Oh Happy Day.
Yeah.
You might hear a little bit of the excitement. You might hear a little bit of the reward, like
Yeah.
you made it. Of course, the whole thing is about oh wow. You want to get through your marriage, and you want it to be an oh wow marriage when it starts, and you want it to be an oh wow marriage through all of the
Keep getting it on track.
phases.
Yep.
But at the end, no, the end, that's the wrong word.
No,
It makes it
yes,
so
don't say end.
fade to complete.
Maybe
It's,
when you get to your sweet spot, you want to stay there once you get there.
Your oh
Because I think
happy
you can.
day.
I think you can get to Oh Happy Day and then revert back to some other phases too, right?
It's been known to happen.
So we want to
yeah.
hang on to Oh Happy Day phase. So
That's
let's
right.
get to it.
But not to generalize entirely, most people who are a little bit older are in the oh happy
Right,
days,
right.
right? So we're not trying to
Yeah,
be
that's how we're kind of categorizing
yeah, we're not
it.
trying to be really depressing like this is it. This is the
No.
last phase. but you tend to be a little bit older in the oh happy days phase. So let's define it a little bit for the folks
Yeah.
at home
Yeah.
who are watching. And
Go ahead. Well, you go. So you might
tell everyone
be approaching
about the happy day marriage that you have.
As you said, if you're, you've been married a while, you might be approaching retirement or semi-retirement or dreaming, planning for retirement. You have more time together. You have more. You have potential identity crisis at this phase that you have to kind of work through because maybe work is not going to be your identity as much anymore.
Yep, you'll notice on the
Right.
screen we've also put the word potential. I don't know if you can see that. We'll cut there and then we'll cut back again. But the potential is like this isn't hard fast, right? You may be retired, you might be semi-retired, and this is sort of all potentially what's going to happen. There is, and this is really I think exciting for a lot of us, especially those of us who are really excited about intimacy. There is the opportunity in the Oh Happy Day phase for a deeper kind of intimacy.
Yeah, deeper connection.
And now
for
some
sure.
of you in the oh yes phase, that first phase, you're like, impossible. There is no deeper intimacy than the intimacy we're having right now. We wrote the book.
Well, you've reached a maturity, a place where you kind of know what's important in life and you don't take each other for granted as much. We hope. That's what we're looking forward to, that
Potentially.
place. Yeah, I like that you put quieter. It's a little quieter.
Can be a
and
quieter
for people in the
phase.
oh dear phase, that maybe sounds really good. I
Yeah.
can't wait for a little peace and quiet.
You want to make it to
so-
Oh Happy Day.
Yes,
You want to
yes.
make it to Oh Happy. Now, don't get a bad attitude. If you're in the Oh Happy Day phase, don't type in the chat and say, hey, quieter, what are you talking about?
Well, we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
There could be things that don't make it quiet. But we're gonna,
That's a good
yeah.
point. So the Oh Happy Day phase especially is renowned for seeing life in perspective. So there's a certain amount of maturity that we're seeing in the couples that reach this Oh Happy Day phase
yeah.
that, quite frankly, if you take a pause and you calm down a little bit, it's really refreshing. When you see these couples at that phase and at that stage that are no longer, kind of all messed up with the stresses
trying to figure
of
things
life.
out. They've figured some things out.
They've gotten a little more perspective because they've probably lived a little more life.
Yeah.
They've been married a few more years
Yeah.
than the rest of us, so they've gotten some wisdom out of
Yeah.
it. So that's the Oh Happy Day
Yeah.
phase.
Yeah, well, we're very excited. We have some couples that we're going to share with you that we did interview for this phase, and you might recognize some of them, some who are from our church community.
That's right. Yep, these are really good people. These are experts. They've been vetted. They've been proven. They have absolutely no problems in their life. They've made it seamlessly through their marriage. Just kidding.
They taught us a lot.
Yeah,
We're very privileged to speak with them.
Yeah, it was great to be able to talk to them. It was great to be able to record them. It's great that they were willing to be vulnerable and put themselves out there for the rest of us. And here's what I want you to do while you watch this. Do your best to listen. Listen for some of the things that Lisa and I have already talked about. See if you can't hear some of the things that we defined in this Oh Happy Day phase. See if you can't hear it coming out. And also, if you've got any observations, go ahead and drop them into the chat. Even while you're watching it, say, oh, I see this. I'm noticing this is a little different than the world I'm living in. I'm noticing that about them. So let's really honor our expert panel here, and we'll go to them now. Enjoy. Hey everybody, it's good to be here, and this is phase 5, Oh Happy Day. We've got our expert panel, our expert couples here, and they're going to tell us how it is to make it and stay in the Oh Happy Day phase.
Hi, my name is Winston.
And I'm Sherry, and we've been married for 13 years.
Hi, I'm Daryl.
Hello, I'm Zenobia, and we've been married for 32 years.
Hi, I'm Ed.
And I'm Diana, and we've been married 52 years today.
That's really great.
Well, it's so great to have you all here. And we'd just like to ask you, in your opinion, how can a couple prepare for the Oh Happy Day phase?
I thank Daryl for laying the groundwork early in our marriage. I remember him saying clearly that what you see here, this is our inner circle, and no one's going to penetrate this inner circle. And the second thing he said was, there's no back door. So no matter what comes our way, challenges will come, we're gonna work this out. So absolutely no back door. And what that did for me, it gave me a lot of security, knowing that, you know, I have freedom to make mistakes and we'll work it out. And that's just no back door.
Well, never lose your desire to grow in your marriage. For example, we've been married, as Diana said, 52 years, but we're still going to Monday marriage. We're always, it's so important to keep growing.
Yeah, and I think too, just looking at the challenges as opportunities to grow, I think that's important. And also, of course, to keep a spiritual focus.
So I think it's really important to understand each other, learn how to read each other, even body language. For instance, I may want to speak to Winston about something that's very sensitive or that's important. I've got to read his body language first to see, is this the right time? Is it not? So I feel that's important to prepare.
Everything sounds so perfect and beautiful in this phase and in your marriages and in your life. So do you have any problems at all?
We still have not mastered the art of effective communication. At times we may have a slight misunderstanding, which leads to both of us being stubborn and maybe prideful.
Yeah, that's true. However, I think Winston and I made a decision that we would rather have a peaceful marriage rather than a contentious marriage. So even though we may have, you know, problems or disagreements, we've just decided it's not important of who is right and who is wrong. Let's just have a peaceful marriage rather than a contentious marriage.
Well, unlike the other couples, we have no problems. No, just kidding. But you know, our problems have become minimal as we've at this stage in our marriage. And for me, I can get frustrated. This is not new for me. I get frustrated just forgetting things and looking for keys or whatever, trying to retrace. and my limitations now with just due to health situations. So that's a problem for me.
Yeah, and I think at this stage is so important for us to be to not become impatient or irritated, and that I think is my challenge, to be sensitive to his feelings and not take things personally.
I don't even think, you know what, maybe we should just skip the Shaws. They don't have any problems.
No. If we have to pick one question, we have to answer.
We have to answer this one. Yes, we've got stuff that's not great. Number one is communication. You know, we're different. We are opposites. And I'm just grateful that when I start wigging out and he doesn't quite get it, I appreciate the patience. I appreciate the people in our lives that listen to us as, you know, I wig out. And I really appreciate the humility at times. Sometimes it takes a few days to come around. But again, I just feel confident that we will, but we do have a lot of communication challenges. It's there big time. So.
Well, not much more to add to that. I think that definitely is the, I mean, we by no means, if anything I've learned in 32 years of marriage is that you don't arrive after 32 years of marriage. And so we absolutely, you know, communications is a big area of focus for us. I can sometimes lack the empathy and the patience that I need to have for them to feel validated. And so that's really an area that we've been focused on. And of course, you know, in the last few months with the COVID lockdown, you know, that's had an opportunity to have a much brighter light even shone on it as we've been together a lot more. So it keeps me certainly humbled and sobered to a degree to know that, you know what, haven't arrived yet, and here's an area that, you know, we absolutely have to focus and work on, because if that communication is not where it needs to be, can lead to a lot of other challenges downstream.
So at this phase, how would you best describe your need for marital intimacy? You know, what have you found help deepen your bond and build a more satisfying marriage?
Well, there's always a need for marital intimacy. It does lessen somewhat with age, but how those needs are met changes. As an example, for me, I'm 74, I've had surgeries, and that is affected, but we still have that deep intimacy, and it will be till we die, in my view.
Yeah, I think it's important to be flexible and to be willing to try new things, and always kissing goodnight, kissing good morning, saying I love you. It tells me I'm beautiful all the time, which amazes me at my age. But I think we just have so much fun together. We enjoy life together. So yeah, it's really great.
Wow, physical intimacy is important to us. However, it's not necessarily our number one priority. We like to travel, and that is when we feel more relaxed and figure to share feelings with each other.
For me, I find Winston very attentive. He is a gentleman. He still kisses my hands. He's patient. So, you know, so for me, I'm happy with that. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
For us, it's important. It's very important. I feel a connection with him. I feel that he still desires me, if it's safe to say that. And I desire him. So it's not number one, but it's up there. It's very important, and it just keeps us bonded.
Well, it's kind of hard to top that. It's definitely close to number one, but it's right up there, if I'm to be very honest. But it really is, and it's, you know, as I said earlier in the earlier question, it really is part of how Zen really demonstrates to me, you know, that she cares about me and that I'm special, and it really does feed into a big way into my confidence as a man.
Okay, we got one final question. What's your one good, sage, wise piece of advice to all the other marrieds in the other phases coming along?
Respect is very important, as well as just listening to your spouse. Respect and listen.
I would say we're not promised tomorrow. Don't sweat the small stuff, and always be in the moment. Don't miss those small moments. Be in the moment.
I think we would say just have fun. Just enjoy each other, be best friends, love life together.
All right, we want to thank all of you for sharing your marriages and your lives with us in the Oh Happy Day phase. We especially thank you for your vulnerability, but we're grateful for the words of wisdom that you've given to us as well. So thanks very much, and bless you guys at this most excellent phase as you all sail off to your islands to retire to. Just remember, Lisa and I will be close behind you, at least to use the spare bedroom, wherever you are. Thanks so much again. All right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, and... Oh, happy day. Well, how great was that? How great were they?
Amazing, totally amazing.
They're so, I mean, it was really amazing. There's lots of wisdom that they were giving. I heard one of the younger folks out there said they were spitting fire.
That's true.
Whatever that means, sounds really good. But we just really want to appreciate our expert couples. I hope you appreciate them. Go ahead and give them a thumbs up on our on our live stream channel here. Just right down there, just hit the thumbs up and show your appreciation, excuse me, to them and the hard work that they did. If you love them, if you thought they did good, go ahead and let them know with a thumbs up.
Very good.
And then also, boy, you heard there's a big anniversary today. Been married longer than us, that's for sure. The Bahulas have been married 52 years today.
Incredible.
Tonight. I don't know if they're watching. If I were them, I wouldn't be watching. But if they are, they're even more amazing than the rest of us. But we want to say happy anniversary to them.
Yes, we do. And in fact, today we had flowers delivered to Ed and Diana's home. And on top of that, we wrote them a card. From all of you, from their Marriage Monday family, we wrote them a card saying happy anniversary. Hopefully you can see the picture of them there.
And more importantly, can you see Ed and Diana? Don't they look great?
Yes. Happy anniversary, Ed and Diana.
52
we love you guys so much.
Go ahead and put in the chat what you were doing 52 years ago.
I'm happy to say I was born.
That's right. In diapers probably, but 52 years ago, absolutely amazing. Happy anniversary. And we're going to continue on. Let's go ahead and move on as we wish. Thanks again to everybody who is helping us in the Oh Happy Day phase. So many of you, wow, appreciate your putting in the chat the efforts that you've made there as far as observations. There was really so many about communication and growth.
And
choosing peace.
Yes.
I thought that was really interesting because lots of us are going for peace in our marriage, we want peace in our marriage. When is peace going to come in our marriage? And yet someone in the Oh Happy Day phase just says, you know what we do? We choose peace.
Amazing.
Very powerful ideas there.
I just sense such security amongst all the couples. They just are so secure with each other, even just joking around, but really very contented.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Vulnerable, appreciate that. Talked a little bit about sexual intimacy. I appreciate them going there. It's like, and even some of us, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but some of us maybe hear that, maybe some men hear, what? It's not the most important thing? How could that possibly be? But you'll see in them that maybe it's not the most important thing, but it's still very, very important. And I know one word that stood out, Chris Ramos, the tech guy, is here with us, and he said, boy, all I heard was flexible. And we sort of laughed and I said, I think Diana means a different flexible than what your male ears might be hearing. But that's neither here nor there. Let's move on, shall we? Appreciate all the comments that our Oh Happy Day people shared. So let's talk a little bit about this phase, and remember this. You may not be in the Oh Happy Day phase. You may be at phase number 1, phase 2, 3, 4, whatever. Just remember this, that everybody, if you're not in that phase, you're really laying down the groundwork for getting there, right? And so don't just sort of turn off now. Don't stop listening now. Go, well, I'm so young and spry. I'm not as old as old man Daryl Shaw. Don't say that.
No, you're getting
That's
to
an
see.
awful thing to say.
Yeah, no, they're getting to. I didn't even hear what you just said, but you're getting to see a legacy of a life well lived, and there's great nuggets here for us to implement in any phase that we're in. So definitely don't tune out.
Definitely don't tune out.
Tune in.
Don't hear flexible and then just stop listening. Stay tuned in.
So,
all right, we always say
words.
every session we do, we always give 2 words. Here's the 2 words that we're giving. You want to just tell us a little bit about
So
them?
our words for this phase, Oh Happy Day, are desire and dreams. And we're going to talk about desire and dreams right now.
Let's get to desire then. When it comes to the Oh Happy Day phase, you might be thinking, what? That's, if I'm a little bit older, is there really still desire? Well, 2 answers to that. 1, did you hear? Did you hear what they said? Of course there is.
Yeah.
But what we want to really bring forth is desire is so very, very important. And perhaps the best thing to talk about right now is what should be or what becomes, usually, at least in a healthy marriage, what becomes the greatest desire in the Oh Happy Day phase.
Yeah, well, you can see we've put out there relational harmony and deep love. Relational harmony and deep love. You know, a lot of people think when you're approaching this phase of life, the big thing you're going for is enough money saved in the bank, right? You got to have enough money to be able to live off of, and how are we going to get there? And everyone's, you know, counting their money, and that's really not the important thing to be thinking about.
Can I just interrupt you for a second?
Yes.
I would even suggest for those of us who are watching this live streaming right now or watching a little bit later, most of us think that because that's kind of what we've been fed our whole
true.
life. That most important thing, once you get to this age, whether it's you know, retirement age of 55 or 60 or 65, it's all about the money, right? So all the commercials are about. It's what everybody's worried about.
Well, there's some legitimate concerns, but it's not the most important thing.
And we're suggesting here at Marriage Monday that the most important thing is not your money.
No.
Or listen to this, the most important thing is not even your health. Now, I think that's more controversial than it's not about the money.
Controversial.
It is. It's so controversial, it's hard to say.
Yeah, no, but it's true that you want to have a great marriage like that, to have a great relationship with your spouse. You can enjoy your good health, you can enjoy you know, your security, but you can't enjoy your good health and your security if you have a bad relationship. You don't have harmony and you're not loved deeply. It's all about being loved deeply.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be better to be poor and be loved than to be rich and not.
That's a modern day proverb from Lisa. TM. We trademarked that. You can't take it. It would be better. What is it? It's better to be rich than to not.
It's better to be. It's better to be loved.
Yes.
Than rich.
Than to right. So, anyways. This was spit and fire. We're spitting
And that was a text. That wasn't in the chat, by the way.
I know.
It was a personal text from
We're
our
out
children.
of control here at Studio B, the big Milestone stage.
So we want to talk about relational harmony and deep love. Very, very important things in this phase of marriage, to have desire for each other. That's what we're going to talk about.
Yep. You might think getting to that phase in life's all about money. It's all about health.
No.
We were going to, as a joke, we talked about earlier this week, we should just bring a can of Spam.
Oh, we forgot.
The can of Spam.
So
we thought that'd be a good prop, but we forgot it.
Yes.
But you know, even if you have to live off Spam. By the way, Spam's making a big comeback. I don't know if you've noticed that. People are eating Spam again.
It's true.
Spam sandwiches and stuff like that. But anyways,
it's like a Spam kind of
thing.
Sushi thing too.
Yeah. But I don't think that's what we're talking about. When we were kids.
But you can live off of Spam.
When we were kids, Spam meant you didn't have much money, right? When or if the Canadian equivalent was Click. My family, we couldn't afford Spam. We ate Click. So at any rate, this kind of stuff is, even if you're living in that stage or that finance, it's not the goal, of course.
No.
But since we're talking about marriage and the importance of marriage, this is what it's all about. You gotta have a great marriage, and you reach that Oh Happy Day phase. So that's the way to do it.
Let's talk about it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first we're going to talk about relational harmony. Then we're going to talk about deep love and flexibility and all that stuff. So
that keeps the fellas.
Relational harmony, we wanted to talk about how it can look a little, this phase can need a few adjustments. If you've noticed, every phase has needed its adjustments.
Yeah, right.
And this phase also needs its adjustments. If you're all of a sudden having more time together, perhaps working less, maybe not, but you know, just more time together. Many people, in fact, I think one of the first Marriage Mondays we talked about how in any phase of marriage, having agreed upon responsibilities it really is important, but especially
it's kind of a theme that goes throughout every phase of marriage.
It does. It's good to revisit.
This is no different. If you're about to enter and go into this Oh Happy Day phase, you've got to think about, and you've got to probably talk about with your spouse, some agreed responsibilities, and especially at this phase, because by now you've been rolling through life. Like Ed and Diane have been married how many years?
52.
Can you imagine how many years?
52.
Think about how many years?
52.
How many habits can you establish in 52 years? How many ways can it's just like, this is what we've done because we've always done it? And we're not picking on Ed and Diana right now, but when you go into this phase as well, you might have to adjust some of your responsibilities. You know, a really terrible thing to do. And what we've noticed is that in this phase, someone may have, worked their career job their whole life. Now they've retired and they've come home and they just spend most of the time sitting on the couch watching TV, while the other one is kind of still doing all of the housework. It's almost like this abuse
And
of power.
sometimes still going to work, too.
And sometimes still going to work. Yeah, so that's not great, right? So
No.
you want to be able to adjust your responsibilities, which means you have to talk about those responsibilities.
Yeah,
You've got to
basically
talk
no
about
one
them
wants to feel
together.
taken advantage of, and you don't want one person being overworked. And that will just help bring more peace into your relationship, which helps the harmony and decrease the conflict, and just everyone will be happier.
Yep. The next one we have on there is being versus doing. We wanted to just bring this out because this is a great phase to look forward to if you're not there yet, but if you're in it, check yourself here, because you have spent so much of your marriage up until this point just doing things. If you have kids, if you have pets, if you have a job, if you've got to pay for a mortgage or the rent, if you have to plan your vacation, if you have to, that means you're doing.
Yeah.
And the thing that it is we get addicted to doing, don't we?
Yeah.
After a while,
So
it's just like the normal thing.
It's a phase of marriage where you can have a simpler life, but with that can come this feeling of I'm not doing enough, and I think sometimes we, as adults, even in any phase you get older, you kind of lose the ability just to enjoy moments and are always thinking about the next thing. You get one thing done and then it's like, well, what's the next thing? You never really get to really enjoy the moment. So being is important, being in the present.
And you got to know where that comes from. After all the years of doing, you've gotten addicted to doing.
Yeah.
And now would be a great time to sort of wean yourself off this addiction.
Well, it can become
of having to do
it can become neurotic, like a neurotic perfectionism.
Yep.
And that just robs your joy, because nothing is ever perfect.
Yeah.
And you find yourself just not even enjoying the things that you used to enjoy.
It's true, and it ain't good for the marriage. So this is a great time to start, being. So what does that mean? Well, it's like really, I think it was Zenny in the video portion, where she's just kind of right at the end, those sage words of wisdom, right? And she talked a lot about some of these things, but don't sweat the small stuff. And just to really, there's a presence that if and when you enter into this, and by the way, if you're not yet in the Oh Happy Day phase, a little Kevin and Lisa recommendation, whatever phase you're in, now would be a good time to start practicing this being. And really being present is lighten up a little bit as far as the scratching and the clawing and the grind for great success. You can be greatly successful, and we know so many couples who are, but we appreciate this, especially the ones who decide we're going to put being important as well over doing. So in this phase, we see that.
Yeah, and then making your own fun kind of blends, the being sort of blends into making your own fun, because we were talking about how kids are amazing. They just know how to have fun. Like just know how to have fun. And this is a great phase of life to figure out kind of how you can have fun together.
So are you saying that if you make it to the Oh Happy Day phase, you become kid-like? Is that right? More childlike?
I think so.
Well, I really...
Everything doesn't have to have a deep purpose to it. You can do some things just to enjoy yourself and enjoy each other.
I think you really heard that in our expert panel as well. There's just like, the different things, right? We choose peace, like we literally choose it. We're important to one another.
I think Ed and Diana play cards every night before they go to bed.
Really?
So that's,
You think we should do that? We should start playing cards before we go to bed?
We could think about trying that.
We'd have to learn how to play cards before we'd never go to bed, because we don't know how to play.
I can play Skippo.
Skippo. All right, not TM. We do not TM Skippo, but you can look that up. Where are we? I'm totally lost.
Yes.
We got to talk about Skippo.
So we're having great fun and relational harmony.
Make some fun for yourself, right?
And don't be embarrassed to just really enjoy your marriage. So in this phase,
That sounds good. Maybe the other phase is you should adopt this attitude too. Make some fun for yourself. Make that a priority in your marriage, no matter what phase you're in. Should we keep going?
Yes.
All right. So we've got the next phase, which is deep love.
Yes, I like this.
And deep love, really, we're talking about kind of everything that's conjured up with the idea of deep love, but probably more as well. The first point is intimate attraction. And you really heard it in our expert couples. I almost said professional. They're not professionals, but our expert couples. When they were talking about their physical intimacy. And we asked them that question about physical intimacy. We asked them about their sexuality together. Now, this is the kind of pause that we want to take, and I especially want to speak to my male counterparts out there. For some of you who are a little bit younger, and you hear some people who are married, and you hear them say, sex is not number one for us. There's something in the male ego that recoils from that. It's like, what? What's the point? Whoever wants to get there? Now, maybe it's just me, but, even I had to kind of work through that. But you had to sort of listen to what they were saying, and we glean from what they were saying there that it's still very important. The intimacy still is very, very important. I appreciate even Daryl's talking, he was vulnerable with himself, but he spoke for so many of the male egos out there when he talked about how he appreciates his wife making that kind of intimacy a priority, because what did he say? I mean, I hope you heard it. If you didn't hear it, I hope the wives heard it, because he said, I get great confidence from it. That is so powerful. That's got so much to do with the male being. It's got so much to do with the male ego. So we just sort of throw that out there. Now, overall, our intimate relationship at this stage, in the Oh Happy Day stage, as they said, it may not be the most important, but our intimacy and our attraction for one another actually doesn't lessen.
No.
You could see that. They're even more attracted to one another.
Yeah, it's not so much about feeling sexy and I mean,
no offense to our panel.
Yeah, they were very. I thought they were all very sexy.
Can we say that?
But I feel like they had the perfect balance, really. All of them together, I felt like had a really great balance, and I loved how each of them brought out a different aspect of intimacy.
Yeah.
But at this phase, it can be challenging for some people, and we're not quite there yet. You never know what's around the corner.
Yeah, we have to talk about it, though, right?
And then surgeries or health issues. Yeah, that's coming for all of us, and so it's great to hear the joy and the contentment and the satisfaction that they all have, no matter what. And and for many people, as we've done research, sometimes intercourse is not possible. It's just not. But there's still intimacy, and it's still beautiful. There's still even satisfaction that each other can bring to each other. And you know what? In the earlier phases, there's that problems too. I mean, post-birth, there's no intercourse, and it takes a while, but they're still bringing each other. I'm not going to get graphic, but they're still bringing each other satisfaction in other ways.
Right.
And so at this later phase in life, that can be the case as well. One partner does need more sexual intimacy than the other. And there's so many ways, and that's where I thought the flexibility we were talking about.
I think that's probably the flexibility she was talking about.
But we have so many great examples that we've seen over the years of people who just excel in this area of making sure that they really. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself with the beautiful. But it really is a huge point that we really do want to bring out, and it sort of goes against the common perception of marriage, sexuality, even in these different phases. Like, really listen closely to what we're saying here. Is, can you imagine that even if someday, and nobody's wishing this, but even if someday you encounter significant sexual dysfunction in your body for whatever reason, or in your partner's body for whatever reason, and chances are great that most of us will, there still is a place in that kind of oh wow marriage, which you've made your commitment to one another, where intimate attraction still remains. Still there.
But like every other phase that we've talked about, sexuality and intimacy, you've got to make it a priority. So one of the most amazing things about marriage is if we don't make our sexuality and our intimacy a priority, it will just drift away. And there will be, we promise, resentment when there's no reason for it to be. So intimate attraction is still a real possibility.
We're understanding in this phase it's important, like all the phases, to have open and honest communication about how you're feeling, and that both partners, both spouses feel great. That's the goal. You know, as we have, you know, on the screen, there's less insecurity at this phase.
Let's talk about that.
There's, you know, the ability to just talk about, you know, anything and not feel insecure about it.
Do you know, this is sort of a personal thing that we're learning even in our marriage, is just the amount of, I guess, sheer time that we spend together, the amount of years that we've been married, but you know, our oh yeah phase, those honeymoon years or year, was just absolutely electric for us. It was absolutely amazing. It was wonderful, yet I would say filled with all kinds of insecurity, at least personally, and really having to learn.
I did give you a lot of confidence, though.
You did give me a lot of confidence, I will say that. It's amazing how I could have been so insecure now that I think about it, but I did. I pulled it off. I was still insecure and fragile in some ways in my male ego.
Yeah.
But you know, after all these years, one of the most beautiful things about your marriage and time going by is that you develop a real security together, especially if you're willing to communicate, especially if you're willing to put your intimacy as a priority. Your security grows so much, and you don't want your security to grow so much so that you start ignoring each other, taking each other for granted. But you want to reach that sweet spot in your security with each other.
Yep.
This confidence, right? And trust.
Absolutely.
And you will be there, and I can be the real me, etc.
Yeah.
Through all that. So less insecurity is an awesome part of the happy day.
And like Kevin and Lisa, we're parking on the sex part because that's our favorite part. But I think we covered mutual satisfaction already. You know, can I just sum it up?
Please do.
And you know, I just think we really, as Kevin said, we have to keep focusing on it, just like in every other phase. And we talked about all the chemicals that are produced in a body when you do, you know, kiss and touch and
even smell,
and even have, you know, climax and the oxytocin that's produced. And when I feel like when you're in this phase of oh happy day, it's like a little slice of heaven. You know, it really is a little slice of heaven, and nothing makes you just feel like all is okay in the world. Everything's going to be okay. You know, and
are you saying it can help your marriage?
I think especially because of all of what you talked about, all the history and the, you know, the ups and downs of life, it all seems to culminate in those special moments of ecstasy. So we highly recommend Desire.
Just want to talk as well. We were, as we discussed this and we were putting this all together, the idea of mutual satisfaction. You remember, I just kind of asked you, well, like if there's a person who is, it would be a great discussion. Are you satisfied? Are you physically satisfied? And what if someone says, well, I mean, yeah, but not quite. I'd like a little bit more. I mean, we're not going to be, but you know, can you have those kind of conversations?
Yes.
And if you do, if the other person says, well, I'm satisfied, and the other person says, well, I'm not, what does mutual satisfaction really mean?
Well, I think it's when the person who's feeling the angst is also satisfied. So you almost have to rise to their level, you know, and because, and
you said it so well to me. You said there's no. You remember what you said? You probably can't.
I can't remember.
There's no half and half. There's no. 50,
I mean,
when it comes to mutual satisfaction, by definition.
And I think you saw that with the couples that all spoke. You know, they are all very in tune with each other and happy in their intimacy.
Yeah.
And that, so you know, if someone's needing more, then they need more. So.
Right.
There
you go. Mutual satisfaction. Give it a try.
Okay.
It's going to help you at least have one happy day. If
so
not
desire was our
happy
first
days.
word. Desire was our first word.
Sorry, I guess I think about mutual satisfaction.
Is,
oh, wait. We had a scripture.
Oh, we had a great scripture.
Yeah. We wanted to share this scripture since we're
amazing. The Bible talks about everything and even more explicitly than we're talking about it tonight.
Yeah, make us more uncomfortable than we care to think. But we're scripture
God is
people.
Amazing.
We want to share this with you. This is from Proverbs chapter 5. And, you know, we just sort of throw it out here to say, look at sort of the words here and the heart behind it. May your fountain be blessed and may you rejoice in the wife, obviously this is written to a man, but may you rejoice in the wife of your youth. How does that go counterculture to the world, right? Men in the world are renowned for getting youthful wives when they're old. No, you stay with the wife of your youth,
Yep.
and you rejoice in the wife of your youth. Then there's a little bit of a hunter and gatherer sort of descriptions here. She's a loving doe. She's a graceful deer. May her breast satisfy you always. May you ever be intoxicated with her love. It would be great if all the fellas who like to crack a can of beer on a cold day be more interested in being intoxicated with their wives than the ball game.
Yeah.
But anyways, we've got some people who like to watch the ball game. I don't want to get in a fight with you, but that's a great scripture, just kind of putting into perspective the importance.
Just the eternal quality of always and
Yep.
evermore and
stay with it. Let's
All
go
right,
to dreams.
the second word,
let's
dreams.
get these guys.
dreams.
Yeah. Dreams, the greatest need when it comes to the dreams. So our first word was desire. This is dreams.
Yeah.
In this phase, the Oh Happy Day phase, this is where dreams really should come alive.
Yes.
This is where you enter in meaning and purpose together. You start. Make sure, if you haven't already, laid down this groundwork.
And yet,
this is where it comes.
And yet, some people do find kind of an identity crisis in this phase.
Okay, tell us.
If they don't figure out their dreams, because their dreams have been, maybe all about the
Work,
kids and what they're going to do and activities and work. A lot to do with work, right? And again, many people don't have the privilege of retiring at this place.
It's a good point.
But even thinking about it can get people anxious, right? Thinking about not working.
Yeah, when we talk about retiring, if you can retire, or at some point, and even people kind of retire and then they take another job or something like that, it is a recommendation for your marriage sake. If you can do this is not absolute, but if you can sort of synchronize your retirements between spouses, that can be a really good thing to allow you to open up some time to work on your marriage. Even if you retire from your careers and then, like maybe I'll become a Walmart greeter after.
Well, I always
joke
I could work at Tim Hortons. And if we're eating out of Spam, we might have to do that.
That's true. There's our retirement goals right there.
Yeah.
So stop by Tim Hortons. Lisa will serve you a coffee, and I'll be the old crazy guy sitting there muttering to himself. But it's all going to work out well for us.
I used to have my Bible study every single morning at Tim Hortons, so I feel very comfortable with that.
Maybe I'll serve you coffee. I'll be working. You be the crazy woman in the corner muttering. Anyways, let's keep moving here at Oh Happy Day.
Yeah.
In this dream section, we've got to make sure that we've got common goals together. There's a need for that. Did you already talk about that? I don't think you did.
I mean, for sure, especially, again, sort of thinking kind of retirement, there is this need for consensus on what are we going to do for the next, a third of their lives together, maybe the next 10 to 30 years you have together. What are we going to do together? And not that you can't have individual goals. You can have individual goals.
Can you?
But if you support each other's individual goals, if you know what I mean, like you want to be
as opposed
in agreement.
To, I'm going to go collect butterflies in the Amazon. I'll see you in 3 years.
Right. Well,
maybe not help your marriage.
To have the Oh Happy Day marriage, you want to get on the same page somewhat, right?
Yeah, it would be fun to collect butterflies in the Amazon.
I would go with you.
Would you?
I would.
There's snakes and bugs there. Butterflies or bugs?
I'm fine with snakes, not fine with anyway.
Right. What are we talking about?
We'll figure it out.
Common goals.
Yes.
Right. So you want to have those, and you want to be in communication in that way. But this is a really great phase for you to. Well, frankly, every phase, but this is a really great phase to really open up and talk about your goals. Where are we going? What would we like to do? This is not the phase. It's not good for anyone's marriage, as it's not good for anyone to retire and just do nothing.
Yeah.
It's not good for your marriage to just reach a point where you just kind of go, well, I guess we've arrived, and you don't do anything.
Oh, I can't imagine just doing leisure things every single day and not having meaning and purpose behind it. And I think most people would feel the same.
Yeah.
But you can not plan for it and find yourself, struggling with some depression and. Not clinical depression, but you can definitely see how people have that identity crisis if they don't figure it out.
Yeah. So some good things to think about, even as you've got dreams for your life and your marriage. You may want to think a little bit about mentorship, since most people who are in the Oh Happy Day phase are more advanced in years. They have a lot more life experience.
Yeah.
So why don't you bring to the fore the opportunity to share with others? This may be a great time for you to realize, if you have children, for you to realize that your children are probably adults by now and need to be, if you haven't realized this yet, they need to be respected as adults.
Oh, yes, yes. So parents need to become peers with their children, is what we've heard. And that's a great point. It's a really great point. You know, I don't think that it's important to not give our kids unsolicited advice. And I'm so guilty. I'm so sorry, kids. But unsolicited advice, you got to be careful with that, especially if it's like how to live your life and it's not really invited or welcome. We want to become friends and even get advice from our kids. They're amazing. These millennials are incredible. They're so talented and creative, and we can get a lot of great advice from them. I get a lot of great advice from our girls.
They're insufferable. Yes, but that's a great point. And so, yeah, we move, we change in that way. So, but think about as well mentorship in what you can give back, whether it's giving back to your community a little bit more, whether it's giving back to people perhaps in your family. If you belong to a faith community like us, we go to church. A lot of you who are watching go to church as well. And there is mentorship opportunities. But as we talk about this, now let's talk about the people who've really tried this, but they haven't been embraced.
Yeah, it is.
I'm trying to help people.
It is
but
important.
Nobody's calling me back.
I think that for us as we mature, and we're already sort of getting into this phase, and will more and more. And I can imagine that when we don't have a paycheck attached to what we do, that it will become, that we could feel like unwanted. You know, if people don't want our help. And so it's very important.
What's the best thing to do then?
I think you have to believe in yourself. I'm planning on believing in myself and trying to seek less validation from outside of you and I. We've talked about that a lot, even now. We can't get our feelings hurt when people don't return our phone calls, or the people who are in those earlier phases are very, very busy. And I think the Oh Happy Day phase people have to just sit back and just kind of know that they will need you. They do need you, but we just can't, be demanding about. I have so much to offer, and you need to,
That's right.
Young
people are running the world. That's okay.
It can be easy to feel sort of thrown to the curb, but you're not. You're so valuable. Yes. You're so needed. And I just think that what the world needs is for these people in this phase to be the very secure people who don't need anyone else to validate them.
Choosing that wise opportunity to share, choosing that wise opportunity when the younger folks are ready to hear and to learn. Man, they move right in there. Give them those gems of wisdom that you have. It's also on the screen behind us that it's a great time to even reinvest or rethink about your circle of friends, the people that you know. Family as well. It's a great time to start drawing closer. You may find that in this phase you've got a little bit more time, and a little bit more time is a great time to start reinvesting in those relationships and in those friendships.
Absolutely. Siblings, cousins, become closer. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that phase of having just more time to invest in relationships.
That's right.
And not for any, even though this is a time of meaning and purpose, it's just nice the idea of having relationships where there's no agenda. It's not like because I'm getting something from this person or they're getting something from me, but just because we really love each other. That's really cool, and I really look forward to that phase as well. Yeah.
And there's goals for the future. We've kind of talked about this as well, but it is so very, very important that in any marriage you're making goals for the future. But this time, Oh Happy Day is really where it opens up for you to even come up with some, we'll call them fresh and new ideas, fresh and new goals for the future. Your kids and your friends may say those are crazy old people goals. What are you doing? But hey, you're still alive, you're still married, you're still loving life. Come up with some fresh and new goals.
That's inspiring, yes.
Come up with spiritual goals. Come up with ways that you can help your congregation, ways that you can step up, ways that you can give more, whether it's give financially more or just give with your person, or financially, and with your personality, and as a couple. There's really so many ways at this stage that you can kind of open up. So
yeah, we need more couples, more marriages in this phase, really shining and showing the world God's love, because obviously that's what it's all about. Is God invented marriage to show the world His love for His people, and so yeah, that's really cool.
that's good. And that's the Oh Happy Day phase. That's not everything about it, but we've had some really excellent people help us through it. And we've got a lot of you who are going to be moving into that phase. Want to encourage you to plan ahead and be thinking about, you've got to keep your desire for one another, and you've got to keep your dreams for your life. The dreams that God has for you, keep those complete. It is so very, very important.
Meaning
and that
and
brings
purpose.
us to almost the end of another Marriage Monday, but we do have an important thing we want to share with you. Thanks for staying on with us this long. And here is our big announcement. We're not going to be back in our next session. The next Monday, we're not going to be back. Kevin and Lisa are going to take a little bit of time. Marriage Monday is going to go on a short hiatus. We're going to retool a little bit, and then we're going to come back. Should we say, we'd be so prideful, we're going to come back better than before, stronger than before?
Oh, yeah, you
stronger,
definitely.
faster. No, that's the Bionic Man. But there's a reference that most of you won't even know. But anyways.
The Oh Happy Day people will know it. The reference.
The old Happy Day people.
I mean, you
can't believe you just did that. Terrible.
The O.
It's terrible.
I said O. The Oh Happy Day.
Stop by Tim Horton. She'll be in the corner. Anyways,
That'll
Kevin and
be
Lisa,
fun.
Marriage Monday will not be back, but we will be back August 10th. Monday, August 10th. That's when we're going to be back.
Yes.
I'll be here. Will you be here?
Yes, I will.
We're going to start it all over again.
Yeah, I'm going to miss everybody
Start
though.
out, but we're going to have a little bit of summer. Let you have a little bit of summer. When you have this, Monday nights, keep the Marriage Monday thing going. Go on a date together.
Yeah.
Be nice to each other. Maybe even have a little bit of intimacy together.
Or rewatch the ones you missed. If you missed some of our Marriage Mondays,
That's right.
Chris the tech guy said, give a shout out to watching the other ones, that they missed.
Or rewatch them even though you've watched them. I think some of you need to watch like one a day. We're shameless. Anyways, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done that. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much.
For all of these 17 weeks, we're going to take 3 to 4 weeks off. We'll be back August 10th.
August 10th.
Hopefully we'll see you then. You guys have been awesome. Hey, you've been really awesome.
August 10th is the day before our 30th anniversary.
We're going to be 30 years married. That's
I wish,
why we're
like
coming
Ed and
back.
Diana, it was right on the 11th.
That's how Kevin and Lisa rolled. That's how we spend our anniversary. Not alone intimately, but with you. What are we, crazy?
I am going to miss all of you, though.
Yeah.
And thank you so much.
Marriage
for being
Monday.
amazing.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Give me a kiss.
Mwah.
See everybody in August. Have a great July.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.